We're addressing the issues of people who are working out and lifting weights but just can't seem to build muscle that they want to build. So if you've been lifting for a while but you still look the same when you look in the mirror, you're probably making about 4 to 5 of these 10 muscle building mistakes that I'm going to list out right here. Reveal those common beginner mistakes that keep people from really getting gains. And then a lot of people run into the issue of, after putting in months of work, your arms look the same, your chest, your shoulders, back. You don't really see any upper body development, especially when you're comparing yourself to a lot of other people in the gym who do have a lot of real muscle. But the truth of the matter is, building muscle isn't complicated. The mistakes are easy to fix once you know what they are. So the first mistake is not tracking your workouts. This is the biggest mistake that beginners make, and it's killing your progress if you are making it. Because if you can't remember what you lifted last week, then how do you know if you're getting stronger? So then progressive overload is going to be the foundation of muscle building. And so that's going to mean that systematically increasing your training load, whether it's the amount of weight you're lifting or the number of reps that you're lifting it for. Increasing that number over time is going to lead to consistent muscle growth. Because without tracking your workouts, you're just going through the motions and you're just working out really with no goal in mind. And so to fix that, obviously, you got to track your workouts, record how much weight you're doing, how many reps you're doing it, and how many sets you're doing it for. Then when you get that number, you want to try to beat that number within the next 1 or 2 weeks. Mistake number 2, program hopping every few weeks. And so that means if you see a new workout routine online and it has you thinking, this looks better than the workout that I'm doing, I'm going to try that. So then you switch that program. Then 1 or 2 weeks later, you find another workout program that you think, you know what, this is the one where I don't know what I was doing before. This is a workout program right here. So then that 1 or 2 weeks later, you switch again. But let me tell you the problem with that. Even if you're finding a program that's better than the one you were doing before, the problem with switching to that new workout program is the progress that you were making on your original workout program. You're no longer going to be able to track and beat that progress the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next month or so. You were progressively increasing the workload, the intensity, the reps, the weight that you were doing with your original workout program. And that progression in effort and workout intensity is what makes your muscles grow. But if you switch a whole new workout program, you're doing a whole new list of different exercises, which stops you from being able to track how much progress you were making with your old lifts. Mistake number 3, ignoring compound workouts. So many beginners gravitate toward isolation workouts like bicep curls, tricep extensions, while avoiding compound movements like squats, bench press, deadlifts, pull-ups. And a common reason why people avoid the compound lifts and go straight to the isolation exercises is because, especially when you're a beginner, the compound lifts are the harder exercises. A lot of times they're even intimidating, but that's backward thinking to only go toward the isolation exercises. You want to do isolation along with compound movements, activating the most amount of muscles at the same time in just one exercise. Activate more muscle at the same time than any other exercise you can do, leading to greater overall muscle growth, strength gains, and testosterone building for that matter too. And so in order to really go about that the right way, what you want to do is build your workouts around the compound movements and then add isolation exercises into that program as accessory movements, as accessory workouts. That is the main workout that you're basing your whole day off of. Mistake number 4, not eating enough protein. You can't build muscle without adequate protein, but a lot of people underestimate how much protein they really need. A common stat in order to know how much protein you need to consume when you're building muscle is about 0.07 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And so for a 140-pound person, that's 98 to 140 grams of protein daily. And honestly, most beginners eat half of that amount. And that's not going to work out for your muscle recovery at all, because inadequate protein intake can reduce muscle protein synthesis by up to 50%. And you're going to want your muscle protein synthesis to be as high as possible, which is the process your body uses to take the protein and build muscle out of that protein. The higher your muscle protein synthesis, the more your body's building muscle. And so what you need to do is make sure that you have a protein source every single meal that you do. When you're not eating a big meal, but you're eating just small things throughout the day, where you're snacking on whatever, make sure that your snacks, which the small portions of food that you are eating, do come with some protein. Not every single thing that you need to eat has to have protein, but almost all of it. Mistake number 5, training too often without recovery. This is the case where more is not always better. A lot of beginners think that they need to train every single day. This is going to lead to overtraining, poor recovery, actually slower progress, because you're training every single day. That means you're not leaving yourself enough time throughout the day to actually eat as much food as you can. And this is all because muscle growth happens during recovery and not during your workout. Muscle protein synthesis, the process that your body uses protein to build muscle, remains elevated for about a day, maybe a little over a day after your workout, but only if you're adding adequate recovery time. So 1 or 2 times a week per muscle group is the optimal number of times that you want to be working out. Mistake number 6, lifting too light for too long. A lot of beginners are either afraid of lifting heavy weights or get comfortable with the weights that they're lifting right now, or just don't know that in order to see more progress in their muscle development, they're gonna need to increase the amount of weight that they're lifting. They stick with the same light dumbbells for a month, wondering why they're not seeing any changes. But progressive overload requires that you increase your workload over time with the amount of weight that you're lifting. A common range for you to be in is training with a rep range between 6 to 12 reps per exercise. That's the number that's optimal for muscle growth. So in other words, if you can easily do 15 reps or more, and I'm talking about easily do them, then the weight is too light. And it's time to change all that up. So what you need to do instead is choosing weight that's challenging for you in your target rep range. So if your program calls for 8 to 10 reps per workout, you need to find the amount of weight that's gonna be hard enough and that's gonna be heavy enough for you to only be able to do between 8 to 10 reps, meaning that you can't do a rep more. You can't do 11, 12, 13 reps. When you do find that weight that makes you struggle to that point, that's the weight you wanna stick with. You don't want anything that's way inside your comfort zone. You can just rep 20 times without even breaking a sweat or even breathing hard. Only when you can complete all sets with perfect form very easily is when you want to increase the weight. Mistake number 7 is using terrible form and ego lifting. A lot of people will load up the bar with just all kinds of weight and then try to move it, and they might even move it, but they'll use terrible form to move the weight. But number 1, ego lifting leads to potential injury and poor muscle activation. Proper form and full range of motion on your workouts are gonna be the 2 most important things in a workout when it comes to muscle development. Partial reps is gonna cheat you out of getting that full range of motion. Momentum assisted lifts, meaning where you're swinging your whole body weight into an exercise in order to get that weight up, is gonna prevent you from any kind of muscle activation. You're not gonna engage any of your muscle fibers effectively when you're using a lot of momentum to lift that weight. So of course, in order to fix that, you do want to use proper technique. Focus on controlled movements, full range of motion, because proper form is going to be heavy weight every time. Mistake number 8 is inconsistent training schedule and eating schedule. So you go hard for 2 weeks in the gym and your diet is on point for 2 weeks. But then things happen. Life gets busy, things happen, so then you skip a week. You're going strong for another week and then you skip another week. Even with the eating, for whatever reason, you start slacking on the diet. You start eating a lot of junk food or you're not eating enough food at all. Those are mistakes you want to avoid when you're inconsistent with the workout frequency and your dieting. That inconsistent approach severely limits muscle building. In the long term, in the long run, training frequency and consistency are more important than individual workout effort. So look at your schedule. Plan out a workout routine that you can keep up realistically. Build your workout schedule around your life and not the other way around. Mistake number 9 is not getting enough sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs and rebuilds muscle tissue after you've broken them down in the gym with your workout. Of course, most people know that, but it's easy to just still not get a lot of good sleep. A lot of beginners will prioritize everything except sleep and then wondering why they're not growing. That's going to reduce muscle protein synthesis. It's going to reduce your body's ability to grow muscle at its best. 7 to 8, sometimes 9 hours is the range that you want to aim for when you're looking into the hours of sleep that you're getting on a nightly basis. Both hormone and testosterone, the hormones that are the most crucial in your body for muscle growth and repair, are going to be primarily released when you're sleeping. And so if you're not getting a good amount of sleep, you're impairing your body's ability to release those muscle building hormones as much as it can. So just try to work on a consistent sleep schedule. Mistake number 10 is not being patient enough and expecting results too quickly. Anticipating that they're going to get results real quick after a couple of days, after 1 week. They don't see immediate results, so they get discouraged and they quit. Because when you're able to stick with your workout routine, then you're going to see results. Not if you get discouraged from the lack of results and then you just stop the whole routine altogether. And noticeable muscle growth comes after about 8 to 12 weeks of consistent training. And then you can drastically transform your body after about 6 to 12 months. So remember, everybody makes mistakes when they start. And then the key is going to be to recognize those mistakes, eliminate them as much as you can, improve upon them, work them out, and then apply the right steps to your whole workout journey.